Well, hello and welcome for a second time to everybody joining us live and joining us in the future on the replay. You are here for a transformational masterclass all about creating new packages and raising your prices with ease. And this is designed exclusively for equine and or canine therapists. So let's dive in. Well, a very warm welcome. And if I haven't met you before, my name is Nicola Kinnard Comedy, and I am the director and founder of NKC Equestrian Training. I'm a business mentor and NLP coach, and I work with equine and canine practitioners, therapists here in the UK and all across North America, and with some incredible practitioners in Australia as well. I have a very strong sales background, and I've also spent over 20 years in the equestrian industry. And my coaching and training company has been running for almost 10 years now. And we provide CE, CPD for equine practitioners, and then the business growth and strategy and personal development for equine and canine practitioners. It's so much fun, I've got to say. So the kind of core crux of my work is helping animal therapists to double their income. Generally, we aim to try and do it as quickly as possible, 90 days, sometimes quicker, sometimes it takes longer. And I've supported hundreds of practitioners to change their lives very significantly to date, which has been amazing. And it's something that I'm very proud of, but I'm also very proud of my incredible clients because they're the ones that go do the work. So the reason I'm telling you all this is I want you to know you're in safe hands here. Like, this is the day job for me. So the information I'm going to give you today is based on our coaching programs, and it's tried and tested. Like, we know this works. We've rolled this stuff out with hundreds of therapists just like you, and to great results. Now, that's me. If you're joining us live, I would love you to jump into the chat, say hello, tell me a little bit about you. Where are you based? What animals do you treat? I'd love to hear a little bit more about you and to get to know you. I need a new slide here because last summer I was given a new horse to ride called Taz. So if you follow me on social media, you've probably heard me talk about Taz. But I'm very lucky to have a gorgeous horse to ride called Taz. He's a 4-year-old thoroughbred. He was in race training, but never actually made the grade. But I'm very happy about that because it means that I get a lovely new riding partner. So that's me. Over to you guys. If you're joining us live, do jump into the chat. Tell us who you are, where you're based. What do you want to get out of this session? Like, what's brought you here? And let's get on to my next slide. Let me tell you about what we're going to be covering, okay? Now, I think this is a really good point to say here, you don't have to struggle. Like, growing a business can feel hard. I think we need to just bring that out into the open. It can feel overwhelming. It can feel lonely. It can feel difficult. You've got all of your clinical skills, and business growth is a whole nother ball game. It's a whole nother skill set. It really is. So I really set this intention when we decided to run this particular masterclass to help you today and to help you in the future as well. Because when you work out a better way of running your practice, of running your business, of marketing things, life becomes so much easier. And I see so many talented practitioners finding things hard, whether that's client attraction, whether it's their mindset, they feel like an imposter, whether it's just their business model needs a few tweaks. Like, I really want you to leave the session feeling incredibly empowered that you can do things differently and you don't have to do the same as everybody else, okay? Because that's what I see a lot in the industry. Just like everyone's trying to say the same thing. They're all marketing in a very similar way. And then I hear, oh, I can't get clients, or it's so difficult. And you know what? It doesn't have to be this difficult, okay? Yes, growing a business can be difficult. I totally agree. Yes, it can be frustrating. Yes, it can be the biggest emotional roller coaster. And it can be lonely as well. And this is one of the reasons I love running sessions like this, to bring amazing people together like you guys, and to help. I really do believe in serving. So the struggle is over, okay? And I really want you to come to the session with an open mind, with a willingness to see things in a totally different way. Okay, so here is what is going to be coming up. So I called this masterclass very simply packages and pricing, or sometimes I refer to it as pricing packages. What I want you to get out of this session is I want you to see about how you could package your work in a different way. Okay. And when I say package, I'm literally thinking of making like a big present, yeah. For some of you, you would package your work in one way based on who you are, your energy, your skills, the type of clients you want to work with, the type of clients who like their kind of issues, problems for the people that you want to support. Yeah. For some of you, it's going to look totally different. And my intention for this session, and if you're here joining us live, I'd love to know what your intention is. What do you want to get out of this? Is that you see a new way forward for presenting your work that makes sense for you, it makes sense for ideal clients, and it makes marketing a dream. Yes, marketing your services, it doesn't have to be hard, doesn't have to be uncomfortable, doesn't have to be complicated, none of that. Like, it really can be a pleasure. If it doesn't feel like a pleasure, it's possibly that you haven't quite got that package sewn up. Now, I'm going to use the word package and offers probably interchangeably, but just let me be really clear what I mean. When I say package or when I say offers, I do not mean discounts, and I do not mean I'm trying to get this the right way around in my head, like pay for 5 sessions, get a 6th one free. Like, none of that, okay? I don't believe that discounting is actually the best way to grow your business. Yes, sometimes intentional use of discounting can be really helpful, but on the whole, discounting is not a tool that I promote to my clients for client attraction, for business growth. It can have a place, but also I think it can be really detrimental. So when I'm saying packages, and I may also use the word offers, and I'll mix those two up. That's what I mean. I mean a way of putting your work together that is different, that makes you stand out, that makes sense to you and sense to your ideal clients. And it's like a no-brainer for your ideal clients to say yes. So biggest thing is that you see a whole new possibility for, yeah, gift wrapping your work. Okay, so that's my intention with packages. Pricing. Now, we could have a little hands up if you're here live, or we could have a kind of virtual hands up if you're on the replay. Who would love to put their prices up? Now, I am not one of those annoying people that's like, oh, everyone should just double their prices. No, not at all. Your pricing in your business, it needs to be done strategically, but it also needs to feel right for you, because everybody comes, as you'll see in this third part of today, everybody comes with their own unique story around money and worth and value and what people will pay for and what they won't pay for. Pricing needs to feel good to you. Yeah. But again, I want you to see pricing in a different way. Now, it may be that you create a new package at a different price point. It may be that you just want to raise all your prices across the board. It may be that you go, oh my word, and you need time to grow into the idea of raising your prices. Okay, there is no right or wrong, but I see so often these like very awkward and apologetic posts like, really sorry guys, prices are going up from this point. And it just feels so uncomfortable. Like, you can feel the discomfort through whatever I'm reading, a social media post most likely. And actually, when I see things like that, I think, my gosh, I go to the gas station, go to the petrol station, the price has changed. Nobody's saying sorry. I go and buy whatever. Price of hay doubled here in the UK over the winter. No one's really apologizing. It's just cost what it costs. Yeah. So I want you to just see pricing in a different way. And then we're going to be talking about some old programming, conditioning, old thinking, or money blocks, as I like to call them, that could well be holding you back. And that part is absolutely pivotal. Okay, it really is. Now, and do excuse me, I will need to blow my nose. I seem to have, I don't know if it's hay fever or if I've just got a bit of a summer cold, but I do seem to be a little bit sniffy today. So just bear with me on that front. Right, let me just see. Who have we got here on the chat? Oh, hi, Gillian. We've got Gwen, equine and human, physical therapist, working full time for somebody else while I try and get my business going. I said, oh, so excited for you. Amazing. Right. When we ran a whole masterclass a couple of weeks ago on client attraction, that would be super useful for you to watch that back. We'll make sure you get the replay link for that as well. And this is also going to really help you with client attraction because you'll be offering something totally different from other people. So that'll be cool. Kerry, hi, based here in the northeast of USA. Equine therapy, amazing. Hi, Caroline, South Africa. Human and animal physio, awesome. Wow, I bet you have some cool. Do you work on any really like unusual animals, Caroline? I'm just thinking like, have you ever done like physio on a giraffe or something? Who knows? I'll watch the chat to see if there's an answer around that. Right, amazing. Now, I have a favor to ask. Okay. If you've joined in my training before, I ask this favor every time. Do something with this information. Okay. It's more of a plea than a favor, isn't it? Just watching this masterclass is not enough. Okay. Yes, you need information. Yes, I am going to make you see things in a different perspective, different way, and you're going to be like, oh my word. But you need to do something with that information. Okay. You need to take action. It may be that you create a new package. It may be that you adjust your pricing. It may be that you look at some of your beliefs around money. It might be that you do all three of those things. Okay. But what I am asking is that you commit right here, right now to doing something. So if you're joining us live and you are like, do you know what? Actually, yeah, this isn't going to be another one of those masterclasses or webinars I watch. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Close the notebook, goes on the shelf, never do anything with it. So if you're joining us live, I want a 1 in the chat if you're like, okay, I'm going to do something with it. If you're not joining us live, you're on the replay, pop us a message. You can find a link to our WhatsApp, send it on Instagram, pop us an email. I don't mind, wherever you want. And just with a 1. That's it. I'll know what you mean, okay? But I really, really want some skin in the game. I want some commitment that actually, do you know what? I don't even know what she's going to ask us to do, but I'm going to commit to something because you can't move forward. And you can't help the animals that you're called to help, that you're here to help, that you've trained to help without taking action. And full disclosure, some of that action taking, it may feel a tiny bit uncomfortable at times, but I still want you to push through because here's the thing, your passion to help more horses, more dogs, more cats, any other animal, I know it is greater than your fears, your worries, limitations, which we all have, discomfort. So discomfort might be here, but your passion, your willingness to help these animals is always going to be a bit above it. So let's go. Okay. I've got some commitment. Let's go. Let's jump in. Now, the success code, I share this on every single masterclass I teach, and I have done for years. You simply need 3 things for success. And I make no apologies. If you've heard me say this 20 times before, I make no apologies for the reminder. It's really important stuff, okay? You need, over here, knowledge and skills, okay? You need hands-on, good at the day job, right? And I'm not here to teach you how to be a better practitioner. That's not what my work, my skill set, my body of work is all about, okay? I know you've got that, yeah? And I know also that you invest heavily time, energy, money into deepening those skills. Fantastic. So we've got number 1 in abundance. We've got that ticked off. Now, you also need to believe, like deep in your bones, that you're great at what you do, that you have the knowledge that you need for right now. Yes, we could always get more knowledge, fantastic, but that you're enough, that you have enough hands-on skills to help your next client and the client after that. Okay. Mindset for success, I call that. Then you simply need to tell the world how you can help them and their animals. Number three, marketing. Now, I call this marketing for you because, as you'll see, there's so many ways to market your business. And to me, like, let's make life easy. Let's find your unique marketing strategy that really works for you. I'm not here to tell people to do things that just doesn't fit them, doesn't suit them. I'm here to stretch you. Yes, I'm here to challenge old beliefs, but I'm also here to help you find a way that works for you. Now, here's the thing. You've got the knowledge, you've got the skills. You'll have a degree of self-belief. Yes, definitely. For some of you, it might be sky high one day and less another. For some of you, that'll feel different. And you're doing some marketing. Yeah, brilliant. But when you work on this one, marketing becomes a pleasure. Marketing becomes easy. Like, you'll want to scream about your business from the rooftops. You really, really will. So we are touching on some mindset, specifically on money mindset today, and we are looking at making your marketing easier for you. Now, it's if you just keep thinking when it comes to business growth, you just need these three things, and you've already got one, so you just need two things to focus on. Okay. Now, I share that because it really does make growing your business, growing your clinical practice so much more doable. Okay. Because there's lots of things, there's a lot of noise out there, isn't it? Like, life can feel busy, information overload all the time. You've just got two areas to worry about. Okay. So I hope that really helps lighten that cognitive load. Now, this next slide I share is taken from my core group coaching program, the Expert Academy. And this is what we do inside this program. I wanted you to see where some of the elements from today's masterclass really fit in. So, a big part of growing your business as an equine and canine practitioner is knowing who your ideal client is and knowing, like, that audience that you really want to work with. So that's a huge part of it. Okay, we're going to touch on this a little bit, but we're also going to touch on these other income streams. And we're also going to be helping you with this money mindset and success mindset. Okay, because this is what works. Okay, client attraction is a big part of this program. You need to know who you want to work with. You need to position yourself as an expert, and as some of the pricing and packaging stuff does that job for you. Leveraging strategic partnerships and referrals is a big part. And then having additional income streams or packaging your work in a way that makes it easy for people to say yes is also massive. So this work that we're doing today, it fits into this very, very proven model that we teach again and again. We've taught to hundreds of equine and canine practitioners all across the world. So I share that because this stuff works, and I want you to see where it fits in to a wider methodology. Okay, so what is it you want right now? Is it you just want more revenue? Maybe your business is brand new. Maybe you're just starting out and just like, yeah, I just want to get going, get some clients in, and get some cash in the tills, so to speak. Is it you want to charge your worth? You might have been in practice for years, multiple years, and you know deep down that actually what you charge does not reflect the value that you offer and the years of training, all the input that goes in. Because so often practitioners are charging based on time, when actually we all know a 60-minute, a 40-minute, a 90-minute, whatever length of time appointment, it's a lot more than that one time frame that the client sees. So maybe what you want right now is charging your worth and feeling much more aligned with your prices, because I've seen this before, and it makes me feel really sad actually when people are working really hard. They know that they are not charging their worth, but for whatever reason, we will go into some of those reasons in a bit later on, they don't feel able to adjust their pricing. So they are nudging burnout. They're tired, they're exhausted, but they also don't have what they want financially. And to me, that is really heartbreaking. That's where I see people leaving the industry or just getting like really fed up. And it doesn't have to be like that at all. Or maybe you just hear because you want new ways of working with your clients. Maybe you've got like a core group of clients and you're like, do you know what? Like, I really want to develop how I help people. Maybe you feel like you're not able to give people the full, what's the word I'm looking for? Like the full access to all of your skills. Because if you only have one offer, it's like you're being boxed in, isn't it? And maybe you know that actually some of your clients would benefit if you could help them in this way and this way and this way. So maybe it's actually what you crave right now is a new way of working with clients. Okay, so let's get specific. What is it that you crave and that your business needs right now? Okay, so if you're here live, do tell us in the chat because that's always fascinating to hear. Okay. What have we got? I'm just diving into the chat. Oh, hi, Steph. Lovely to have you here. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Oh, brilliant. We've got some ones. Okay. Oh, Caroline, amazing. Monkeys. Oh, cool. Caroline, I think we need some photos. You've got a cool client base going on there. Right. So, what is it you want right now? Tell me in the chat if you're joining us live. If you're not joining us live on the replay, just stick it down on a piece of paper. Like, give yourself a moment to get clear. Okay. And it might be that you're like, I want all of these things. Okay, great. What's your first priority? Because this is where, remember that commitment to action taking, this is where things don't move forward because you lack that clarity. Okay. And, a big part of the work that I do with my clients is getting them into what I call CEO mode. And a lot of that comes down to thinking and giving yourself a bit of time and a bit of space and a bit of grace to just think about what is your next best move? What do you actually want? What does the business need for now? What does the business need for later? So answer that question, share it if you're here live, jot it down on your piece of paper if not. Okay, step one, packages that serve. Now, as I said at the beginning, when I'm saying packages, I may also use the word offers. I will mix those up. I'm not talking discount. I'm not talking bulk buys. I'm looking at ways that you can package up your work or present your work in a way that suits you and really serves your clients. Because this is all about creating something that is as unique as you are. It's about standing out. It's about being different. It's also, I've called it serving your highest calling. Like, if you really give yourself a minute, and this answer may be very, very close to the surface for some of you, you know why you're here, you know why you trained, and you know like what you feel deeply moved about in the industry. So it might be, I was just on a call with a client earlier who is very, very called to a particular type of horse and a type of owner and has a particular way that she wants to help them and feels so passionate about that. And that's amazing. Like, that's clearly her calling. And for some of you, that might be rehab. For some of you, it might be strength. For some of you, it might be, I've worked with a number of clients who their calling is the kind of like the horse or that nobody else could help, or the dog who had a really complicated case and nobody else seemed to be able to figure that out. So some people like love that problem solving, and that's kind of their highest calling. And then also, how do you then package up what you feel called for in a way that serves what your client really, really needs? So I see so many practitioners where they're all kind of offering the same thing and it's all kind of sort of on this level. So it does help, sure, of course it does, but it perhaps doesn't give me as a potential client to some of you, it doesn't give me everything I need. Does that make sense? Like, think about, I want you to come out of the equine and canine industries for a minute, come out of animal health and just think, imagine, yeah, let's use me as an example. Imagine I was looking to get fitter and I wanted to work with a personal trainer. Now, I may see a personal trainer who was like local to me and they're like, yeah, I do a one-off session or you can like buy 5 sessions or something. Great. And then I see a personal trainer. It's like, I specifically help women in their 40s who want to feel X, Y, or Z or want to look X, Y, and Z. And we've got 2 ways we can help you. We can help you, I don't know, like just personal training sessions, or we can do like a full like deep dive on every aspect of your life, like get you to sleep better, get you to eat better, as well as train you to be physically fitter and stronger. Let's just say it was like that, yeah? So with that second example, it's much more specific, isn't it? So they've called me out as their potential ideal client, but then they've got 2 ways that they could help me. Now, the top one, just personal training sessions, so I don't know, strength or cardio, whatever it is, that may suit what I need. Great. But they've also given me another option. They've said, do you know what? We can help you with all of these other things. Now, for some of your clients, they might be like, for something like, let's go with the personal training example. For some of these clients or potential clients, they might be like, do you know what? I'm good on these other aspects. Just get me fitter. Just show me how to, I don't know, lift weights or run fast or whatever it is. I just want that one. For some people, they might be struggling for all of these other things. And that invitation to be supported with your nutrition, with your health, with your stress levels, with sleeping, with, I don't know, your environment, any other bits and pieces, that could be an absolute lifeline. That could literally be the best thing that could be served up to you. And I want you to think about that example in relation to your work. So, sure, for some people, that more like top line offering, I can help your horse or your dog feel better, move better, be more comfortable, be stronger, etc., etc. For some people, that's great. That is enough, and they feel they've got the other areas covered. For some clients, they are silently struggling with these other areas. And it may be around how do they keep their horse stronger? What do they do between sessions? How do they manage their dog coming home after an op? How do they, like, they know that maybe the environment isn't 100%, but they don't quite know what to change. They lack accountability. They feel overwhelmed. They're stretched for time, etc., etc. So there's so many other parts that wrap around the work that you do. And for some of your clients, if you could come and solve more problems for them, that would be just such a relief. Okay. So this is where I want you to start really expanding your thinking about, oh my gosh, yes, I could help people with this. I could help people with that. Because I feel like you're doing them a disservice if all you offer them is this option, is that top line option. You can just work with me in one way. Again, think about me looking for a personal training service. Yes, I do want to get fitter and stronger, and I do need that top line core offering, but actually, wouldn't it make my life easier if I had support across these other areas? Wouldn't I feel better? Wouldn't I get better results as well? And wouldn't that trainer be doing like their highest level of work if they could support me with these other things? Yeah, does that make sense? I hope that really lands with everybody. But this is all about really thinking outside the box and looking at what serves you and what serves your ideal clients, okay? Because right now, I'm going to hazard an educated guess. The vast majority of people joining this training and in the animal health space offer the following: an initial consult, a follow-up appointment, and then some sort of maintenance schedule. Now, they may have like a rehab package program where they see people on, more of a schedule, and it covers off a rehab program. Amazing. They may be like a strength and conditioning program, fantastic. But for most practitioners, most therapists, this is what the offer is. Yeah, it's like I can help you here and here, and then we just go on to this. Okay. Now, that does not serve all of your clients. And the other issue that this causes is it means that when it comes to marketing, everybody's trying to sell the same thing. So then what happens? They're all trying to sell a session. And then what happens is then people start trying to market their modality, which again makes it a very crowded marketplace. Now, I personally believe there's unlimited clients out there. Like there's so many horses, there's so many dogs, there's so many animals that need your help. But when you're all trying to offer something very similar, or when you're simply trying to market your modality, not you, your absolute essence, what you bring to the table, and we'll talk about results as well in a second, it does make it harder to stand out. So really my aim for this first part of this masterclass is really getting your creative juices flowing and for you to start thinking, oh yes, actually, my gosh, I could help people with this. I could help people with that. Now, this obviously means staying within, a sensible remit of your skill set. But quite often when you start thinking on this and listening to what your clients say, a lot of what people want is more accountability. It's more access to you. So please don't mishear what I'm saying. I'm not saying you need to also be a trained nutritionist at all. I'm saying that you've probably got other ways you can help people that you just aren't offering at the moment. Okay. Now, really interesting example of somebody who changed up their offer stack of the packages that they had is Katie's. Now, Katie was in the Expert Academy from November and she recently finished the program. And she initially had just this initial consult and a maintenance kind of schedule. And she then developed a wider range of offers, including some high ticket offers, which we're going to look at in a minute. And she went from sitting around the sort of 3 to 4K month where she'd been for a while to she hit 8K in January in a month. And that took about 8 weeks of implementing these new offers because she already had clients who wanted to pay her money. And when she said, oh, I've got this, I can help you on a much sort of deeper level, people were like, amazing. Like, we would love more of your help. Here's my credit card. Let me pay. Let me sign up. So this works, okay? It really does. And if you've got any little kind of story coming into your head, like, oh, will people pay for this? That is simply a story, okay? And we'll cover that off in a bit. But yes, is the short answer. People pay to be more supported, and for you to solve their problems. 100%. That is what people pay for in all walks of life, okay? Now, I believe that you need offers or packages. Again, I'm going to use those two words interchangeably. It's nothing to do with discounting, that meet your clients where they are. Now, I want you to think about, and this is for some of you, this is going to be a bigger thinking challenge, about all of the clients, all the four-legged clients, all the two-legged clients that you've ever supported. They have been different. Yeah, they've been totally different. They've had different needs, they've had different aims, goals, they've had different challenges, they've had different clinical history, different things that you need to work around, okay? So why would you sell them all the same thing? Like, it just makes no sense to me. It really doesn't. And I think you also want to think about, how do you want to work? Because for some of you, what I call mile deep, so actually less clients and you work on a much deeper basis, is really where you feel aligned. And it may be that your business just isn't currently set up to serve that. And this is where you get this bit of a disconnect. And this is where people get quite overwhelmed and get burnout, because they're not meant to serve lots and lots of people. Some people are, and some people aren't. Some people are much better with literally a handful of clients that you work with on a much deeper, much more closely basis, and for a longer period of time. And that's what serves them. Like, that's where their unique skills and energy come in. And that's where those animals and those clients get absolutely incredible results. And for some of you, the opposite is true. You love the variety. You are much better to have a bigger client base and see people, for shorter sessions. And that's where your energy stays the best, where you feel the most aligned and where you feel like you can get the best results. There is no right or wrong option at all. I have got clients that their aim is to have, lots and lots of clients because that's the kind of work they love doing. They love helping people. Perhaps, I've got a client I'm working with right now. She wants to give people the tools to go and help their own animals. And then in the nicest possible way, kind of like move on to the next person. And then I've got other people where their aim is to have no more than 10 clients, maybe even 5 at a time, because they work with them in a much, much deeper level. So the good news is you can have it how you like. You can set your offers, your packages, you can design your business setup to serve you. So if you love those bigger, more complicated cases, or you love building a really deep relationship with your patients and their owners, fantastic. And if the opposite is true, also fantastic. You get to have it on your terms. How exciting is that? So do you really think about what would serve you, okay, as well as what meets your clients where they are right now, okay? Because like I said, for some people, like rehab is a great example, they need so much more than just your hands-on clinical stuff. They need accountability, they need hand holding, they might need some work, some of the work done for them. Like there's no end to what they could need, but you need to meet them where they are. And I think it's, sorry, excuse me, blow my nose. I think it's really important that you offer space for clients to move into, because we're all on a journey, aren't we, with our animals and with our own knowledge and understanding. And what we needed right now, what we needed a year ago, what we need a year in the future is going to be totally different. So having more than one offer, having more than one package means that people have got space. They've got space to move into. It's like you can take people on a journey and continue to support them. Okay, offer stack. Offer stack's a bit of a cool marketing term, but really what this means is having more than one offer or package and offering things at different price points. Now, the kind of typical offer stack is to have either something that's low cost or free, and then a mid price point and a higher price point. Now, think of a wine list, okay? Whether you drink wine or not, you'll be familiar with the concept of a wine list. You've got the cheap stuff, the house wine, and then you've got a range of prices. Now, let's just picture this scene. You're out for dinner. Maybe it's your birthday or an anniversary. You get the wine list. What tends to happen? You might say to yourself, we're not going to have the cheap stuff today. You flick to the top end. And if you're anything like me, you go, oh my gosh, I'm not paying £300 for a bottle of wine. You land in the middle. You've already told yourself you don't want the cheap stuff. You end up in the middle. Now, the reason I suggest that all practitioners have offers at least 2 price points is because it works just like a wine list, okay? For some people, that most expensive bottle of wine is exactly what they needed, and they would have just gone elsewhere if you hadn't have served that. They want the high ticket. For some people, moving off the wine list, back to your work, for some people, they just want their problem solved. The price is not an issue. They just want peace of mind, the problem solved, support, accountability, knowledge filled in, more access to you, whatever it is they want. And they are happy to pay for that. We're going to look at what do we pay for and so forth in a second. So for a percentage of people, the higher ticket is what they crave, it's what they want, and you're meeting them where they are. For most people, they may check out that higher ticket one and then be like, I don't know if I want to pay that right now. And then they land on that mid one. Now, if all you've got is your core offer of you going off and treating someone's horse, or treating someone's dog, or their dog comes to you, or the horse comes to you, or however it looks, yeah, if that's your only offer, they've got nothing else to compare it to. The only thing they compare it to is to a different person. Whereas if they can see you've got this much deeper way of working together, or you've got like a one-off session, or it's a commitment of however many sessions, they can then make a decision. They don't need to go and look somewhere else, okay? Because hopefully your marketing has pulled them in on how you can solve their problem, and then they just get to decide which package do they want. If we only have one choice, and I love sales psychology, I find it so interesting, like what makes people buy, what makes them not buy. If we only have one choice, our brain can get really confused because we're just like, I don't know. Whereas if we're having to choose between two things or between three things, it's much easier for our logical mind to go, okay, well, I want that one or I don't want that one. Therefore, this is the one I'm going to go with because it's the one that's left. Yeah, does that make sense? Okay, so if you only have one price point, one offer at the moment, this is what I'd love you to change. I'd love you to create an additional offer. And I believe every practitioner, every animal health therapist needs a high ticket offer. Okay. So the offer stack, we've just spoken about this. Pricing psychology side is massive. Expert status. Okay. Expert status, as you'll see in a second, is a core part of our client attraction system that we teach. Think back to that personal training example I gave you guys earlier. If I saw that somebody could help me with weight training and cardio, or they could help me with stress management and sleep and all these other things, even if I didn't go for that higher price point, I've lodged that person in my mind as somebody that knows what they're doing. How do you think that makes me feel about investing in their in their kind of core offering and their sort of lower price point offering, when I've also seen the breadth and depth of their work that they can also give me? The fact I didn't actually buy it almost doesn't matter because I've now lodged them as somebody that's a bit different, somebody that knows what they're talking about. And I've seen that the space that I can move into. So right now I might think, you know what, all I want is just the weight training and the cardio. But somewhere in my mind, I'm like, oh, but they could also help me with sleep. They could also help me with stress. So imagine a month, 2 months, 3 weeks, whatever it is later, I'm like, gosh, I'm really not sleeping very well. Bing, my brain will be like, oh, yes, we know somebody that could help with that. Yeah. So it works the same for you. When you have a core offer and a deeper way of working, a higher price point, extended offering, people may not want it at that moment. No, but they know they can move into it. Okay. And then, as I've said, for some people, they want all of that served up on a platter and they want to go straight in for that bigger commitment of their time, of their energy, bigger commitment from you as well. Okay. And you want to think about how you're taking clients on a journey. Like one of the things that we teach inside the Expert Academy is this client journey and thinking about not just how do you get somebody that's like, oh, hello, tell me a bit more about your work. Not just how do you get them into an appointment, but what's the journey you're taking people on? Like, how do you want to work with a client? Yes, for the first appointment. Yes, for the second one. But what do you want to do with them 3 months in, 6 months in, 3 years in? Yeah. So that client journey, if it's not something you've really thought about, it does pay off hugely to really put a lot of thought and time and effort into that. But this is where you can think about how that additional offer, that could be what they need right now, or it could be that that's what they move into in 6 months, a year, whatever's time. Okay. Now, one cool offer that one of my clients created was actually a subscription. So she decided that the thing that would serve her and her clients the most, what for this exact moment, was a subscription. She wanted to create a high ticket offer. She wanted to do that a little bit further down the line. It was very specific around rehabbing horses with kissing spines. But for the right now, a subscription met the needs of her business and it made her clients' lives so much easier. And as a result of putting that into place, she now has a really consistent cash flow and she's doubled her client retention, because one of the things that she found was that she'd get interest, she'd get people having one appointment, and then they would just sort of peter out after appointment two or three. Actually, what she's having the subscription model in place means that people see why they want to keep coming back from her. She also spent a lot of time on this client journey. But the biggest feedback that she's had, which I think is really interesting from her clients, is thank you. Thank you for making my life easier. Thank you for getting me into this subscription because I don't have to think about it. I don't have to think about, oh, I've got to pay an invoice, or I've got to find them. Like I say, find the money. I mean, like go and get some cash out or whatever it is. They're just like, it's just out of my hands and it feels lovely. They know they have a monthly session with Erin there. They know that their horse is going to feel comfortable, their needs are met, and that money is just sorted. It just rolls out on this regular rolling subscription. So for some of you, again, it's all about creating offers that serve you and serve your clients. It may not be high ticket right now today. It could be something as simple as a subscription model. So remember I said about coming to this with a very open mind. I thought it was a great example to share with what suits you and the business and is so beneficial for your clients as well. So client attraction system, for those of you that want to know more about client attraction, tell me in the chat or ping us over an email and we'll get you access to our client attraction masterclass that we ran a couple of weeks ago. But this work on offers, it really does masses for this expert position, which as you can see is a core part of our client attraction system that we teach. Now, we've talked about how you're going to package up your work. Let's get into what you're actually selling, because you're selling results, okay? I would be looking for a practitioner, for a therapist, body worker, vet phys, whatever your title is, because I'm experiencing an issue. My horse, my dog, my beautiful cat called Genghis is feeling this, or is exhibiting this, or there's something that needs solving. I've got a niggle, a concern. I'm worried about my animal. My animal's displaying some physical thing, and this is where I need and desire your help. Are you actually communicating how you solve somebody's problem? Or are you just trying to sell a modality? Because I see this, and I've mentioned this already, I see this again and again. People are selling the benefits or trying to sell the benefits of equine sports massage, of canine hydrotherapy, of insert all other modalities. There's so many different things I could reference here. Now, as an owner, I may understand those modalities, I may not. As an owner, what I want is, let's just say, I use the example of Taz. He's only ever really gone in a straight line until he came to live with my lovely friend Sue. Suppleness is a thing. He's got tight spots. He's weak. We're building him up super slowly. He's a big gangly baby. He's got a lot of growing to do. What my concerns are is there a tight spot that we've missed? Is he feeling comfortable as we start to ask a few more very subtle questions? That's what my concern is. So the results that I desire is peace of mind. That's something I want as the owner, as well as the results that I'm looking for with the horse. Yeah, does that make sense? So you want to package your work up in a way that suits you, it suits your clients, and it feels like really deep. And yes, it's also strategically sound in having these two price points. But then what you're actually marketing is the results. Yeah, that's the thing that you really are selling. The package is how you help somebody get those results. And the modality is part of the how. It's not actually, for the vast majority of you, it's not the core thing that you're selling. So if you don't have this clarity about the actual results you offer, give yourself a little bit of time and think, like, what do you see again and again with your clients? What have people told you again and again and again? And also think beyond the obvious, like, I don't know, a successful rehab. Think about those ripple effects. Like, let's just say you've worked with somebody through a rehab program. Rehab's a great example. What was the owner like at the end compared to the owner at the beginning? What were those ripple effects on the fact that they felt supported. They felt like they had a plan. They felt like they had someone to bounce ideas off and share their concerns, and they felt taken care of. What was the ripple effects of that? Because your work is like the work that you do extends so much more than just helping the animal. And that is a big part of the results that you're offering. So get clarity here because it will help you with the packages and it will also help you with the marketing. Okay. So at this point, I'm pretty certain you can see why you want more than one offer. We've talked about these 2 price points. Now let's get more specifically into pricing. So step 2, pricing. Okay, so whether you want to set your prices, you maybe you're brand new in business, maybe you're like, oh yes, I see the logic of having these 2 price points. And you're like, how on earth do I set that second price point? Or maybe you're like, do you know what? I haven't put my prices up for 10 years or something. I want to put my prices up. This is what I'm going to say to you. This is my very personal and very unique take on pricing. You can charge what you like. Now, let me give that a few caveats. You can charge what you like, but you need to be able to offer value, provide results, and you need to believe in your pricing. And the numbers underneath your pricing need to add up. Like you need to have done the maths behind it all. You need to factor in all of the fixed costs, all of the costs to deliver your service, pay tax, pay any other things you need to, and pay yourself. So you can literally charge what you like, but you do need to have factored in those 4 things: the value, the results, the belief, and the numbers need to add up. Now, when I say, oh, you can just charge what you like, I appreciate that can sound really kind of fluffy and airy-fairy, but let me tell you why I say that. Now, as I said at the beginning, I've worked with a whole number of people across the industry. I work with people that are still students and they're like, oh, tell me how to build a business before I'm actually ready. I work with people that are brand new qualified. I work with people that have been going for years. I work with people that have built a successful business and they want to take it further. And I work with people that are scaling up to a 7-figure business and everybody in between. Now, here's what's interesting. In the UK, I have worked with people or supported people who've charged anything from £30, yes, £30, you heard me right, for a session, up to £175 for basically the same session. Okay, now I'm not saying those 2 practitioners are exactly comparable. I can't even remember their exact names now at this point. These are some examples from over the years. But my point is, this was both based on like a 60-minute session. So yes, each of those practitioners would be different. They'd each bring different things to the table, but ultimately they were 2 hands-on sessions with horses for a similar time frame. So you can see that wide breadth of pricing. In the US and North America, pricing, again, really variable. I have worked with people that have charged everything from like $60 up to over $200 for one session. There's no right or wrong with pricing, but it needs to feel right. It needs to feel right for you because we pay to have our problems solved, don't we? And we pay for an incredible experience, okay? Now, this is how most people set their prices. They look at what other people in the area are charging, and either they go, okay, well, Becky down the road is charging this, and Jane over here charges this, so I will pick the exact middle. Or they go, well, these people, they're all charging this, so I'm going to go under that. Now, I do believe that there are some parts of the world where there is a bit of a ceiling price point. But if you simply charge exactly the same as other people, there's a few dangers here. One, you are pricing based on their money fears, their money blocks, their conditioning around money. You're also pricing based on their maths or lack of maths. And if you don't sense check those numbers and make sure you feel comfortable with them, you could end up being in this camp of people. And this is when sometimes people come to me for support when they're like, I've just done a whole year in business, or it's my fifth year or whatever year in business, and I can't believe this is all I made. Like, I'm not making enough profit. Help me out. So, and quite often when we try to trace back, like, how did this happen? You've just worked your backside off for a quarter, a year, or whatever, and you're like, that's all I've got. Like, where's the money? It's because it starts with pricing, okay? And I honestly think if you create a package, an offer that is totally unique, you do get to charge what you like. And that could be for your core work, it could be for your higher ticket offer. That is up to you. But I'm not saying you should go double your prices. I'm saying you get to choose. You do not have to charge exactly the same as other people. Because again, if you are trying to offer the same thing as other people, the only thing that you can compete on is price. And this is where I'm really stretching all of your brains to go, okay, well, what's the white space that I can find? What's something that I can help my clients with that is different, that feels right to me, that solves their problem, and is my unique way of working? Because you've all got it. You all have. For some of you, you may have a similar title or a similar qualification, but you have your own unique energy. You have your own unique way of working. You have your history, your way of thinking. Everything is different from each of you. So when you package your work up in a totally different way, it means that you're not competing with other people. It means that you stand out for the right reasons and you don't have to try and compete on price. So, what do we pay for? And what do we pay more for? Think about in your own life, what do you happily spend money on? And what would you spend more money on? Okay. Now, for most of us, speed. Whoever goes, hands up, this is me. Next day delivery, because either you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot to order that thing. Yes, I'll just pay double to get it tomorrow. We pay for speed. We pay for ease. Somebody wants to do something for me. I'm like, yes, like my lovely website people. Amazing. Have my money, just do it for me. Yeah, we pay for ease. We pay for things to be done for us. Yeah, like the website. We pay for results. I have an amazing friend who is a riding trainer, and we have a trainer coach relationship, like trainer student relationship, and then we have a lovely friendship, and there is very much a line between them. And she is expensive, and she is proud of it because her work is just so incredible. It really, really is. Like, she gets results, and I would happily pay twice, triple, 10 times more for something that's going to deliver and get me the results I want. Think back to my personal trainer example. Yeah, I've picked somebody that isn't the cheapest, but they are going to get me the results I want, because that's what I want. I want results. We pay for an experience, don't we? I've got a great example of a lovely little story to tell in a second, where and again, I will pay happily for that because it gives me a thing, gives me a product, but it also gives me an amazing experience. And we pay to have an incredible experience, don't we? We pay for support, hand holding, accountability. We pay for that. We pay for shortcuts. I know I pay for that, definitely, where someone's like, look, I figured out the easiest way to do this, be that something around, I don't know, AI, something about supporting my children or business growth or training my horse. I'm like, yeah, I'll pay you for you to give me a quick route, a shortcut. And we'll pay more when we trust somebody, won't we? We will happily pay more money when we trust somebody. What about you? What do you happily pay for, and what would you happily pay more for? Another example I often use, which I was thinking about the other day, is so I'm based here in the UK. I'm based near the Cotswolds. We have Badminton Horse Trials, which was last week. It's about 40 minutes, half an hour away from me. And I love going to badminton. It's an amazing experience. And when I go to some of these, we have so many amazing events here in the UK. When I go to events like this, particularly if I'm taking my children, particularly when they were younger, I would happily pay double, if not more, to park at the front. Because particularly when my kids were smaller, like, when my youngest daughter was like 3, 2, her little legs would get too tired and just walking across the car park. And she'd be like, can you carry me? And I think, oh my gosh, we haven't even seen a horse yet. We haven't even got to the cross country. I'm like, yeah, I can pay twice the parking fee and be at the front. Then if I need to go back to the car, it's easier. Oh my gosh, yes, happily pay that. So also, when I'm at an event like that, I want nice toilets. I don't want a grotty old yucky toilet. I'll happily pay more money to sit in a nice area where there's lovely seating and there's nice toilets. So that's just me, but what do you pay for? What do you happily pay more for? This information is so useful because you're going to really apply this to setting your prices and setting your high ticket offer. So the things that and I've covered this a little bit already, but I think one thing to note about is that I was thinking about the three things that I love paying for. Anything to do with nature or horses, something that's luxury and something that's fun. These are the things that I will happily spend money on. But here's the interesting thing. I want value from things, whether they were high cost or whether they were low cost. I still want value. And I think this is what's really interesting is people pay for the perceived value. And you need to make sure that you are offering a really valuable experience because we want value for money. Like I love to think, oh my gosh, that was worth every penny, whether it was a camping trip, which cost, I don't know, £50 or something, or it was an amazing like holiday of a lifetime that cost significantly more. I still want to feel like I've had value, whether I've paid here or I've paid here. Yeah. So how can you apply that to your offerings? How are you providing value? Now, I told you I was going to tell you a little story about the experience and high ticket. I'm going to tell you about buying some jeans. Now, I'm actually wearing a pair of these jeans right now. Now, I love a brand called Holland Cooper. Now, you may know them, you may not know them. If not, go look them up online. They've got some beautiful stuff. And their jeans cost about £100. And I was having this conversation with my mum, and she was like, why would you spend £100 on a pair of jeans? You could spend £50 on a pair of jeans. And I was just like, oh my gosh, you don't get it. Because these jeans are like such an incredible experience to go and buy. So when I go and buy a pair of jeans from this company, they have this beautiful boutique that's quite close to me. Somebody will come and bring you different items of clothing to the changing room. They'll bring you a cup of tea. You feel like royalty, okay? So I'm having this amazing experience when I'm buying the jeans. Now, I could have gone to I'm going to use some UK examples like Next, which won't be equivalent of, kind of like a slightly higher price point than Target, but not massively expensive. And I just had to go and pick the jeans up off the rail, try them on myself. It's a very much a DIY experience, okay? Ultimately, I'm ending up with a pair of jeans. Why do I choose to pay double for these jeans? Well, the product is also better. I know that these jeans last, these Holland Cooper jeans, they last really well. But really what does it is the experience. So I've ended up with a pair of jeans regardless. But when I've paid a bit more, I've had an experience where I have felt like $1 million. And the jeans last. I love the jeans. The jeans look good. But also I've had this incredible experience buying the jeans. And that is worth the price difference 100 times over. It really is. Now, I'm telling you that story because I know you're not selling jeans, but I want you to think about what kind of experience do you give your clients? How can you give them an experience that feels really, really special? An experience where they're just like, wow, you kind of blow their minds in the nicest possible way. And again, it goes back to this client journey work. Because when you commit to giving your clients an incredible experience, again, you have got so much more scope for pricing. You have got so much more room to expand your prices because most of the time, most practitioners are focused just on their modality, their clinical skills, which is of course important, but the entire client experience isn't always quite so thought out. And you just get so much more scope to serve your clients and also to create packages with a lot more depth and pricing with a lot more space for you to breathe and for you to do your best work. Because when you charge somebody a higher price point, they're buying more time and more access to you. It means that you have to serve less clients. If you want to make the same money and you just adjust your pricing, you need less people, which means that you're automatically probably going to do a better job because you're not so stretched. Yeah. So think about this jeans story. Go look up that brand if you wish. But I want you to think how you can give this like boutique type of experience to your clients. And it really relates back to those price points and to having those real bespoke offers. So what does he want to charge? Now you can tell me here in the chat or you can keep that to yourself. That really doesn't matter. But I want you to see how you can set your prices as you wish, 110%. And you don't need to price out of fear. You don't need to price out of lack. You don't need to price based on what Becky up the road's doing. You get to price on the value that you bring, on how you solve people's problems, their answer their niggles, their concerns, but also how you give them an incredible experience. So hopefully that has got everybody thinking in a very different way about pricing. I'm so excited to hear what actions everyone's going to put into place after this session. I really am. Right, number 3, our final step. This is quite a brief section, mindset. Think back to my earlier slide, the success code. Knowledge and skills, mindful success, and marketing for you. Let's talk a little bit about money mindset, okay? Because here's the thing. We all have lots of thoughts, lots of emotions, lots of energy tied up around money, okay? We make money, which let's think about what money really is. Money is it's just a transaction, isn't it? It's an extension of a bartering system. You think back in the day, I don't know, you had a cow and I had some chickens. Well, I'd have had to give you a number of chickens to get your cow. It's an extension of that. Yeah, we can't just barter our way through life in the modern world in 2026. So we have money, but we put all this stuff into our relationship with money, shame and guilt and our worth. We've got societal conditioning, generational belief systems. Maybe you've had a past lifetime where something happened around money. We've all got our past experiences, what did feel fair, what didn't feel fair, how money was talked about when we were growing up, and so much more, which means that when it comes to setting your prices or creating higher price points in new packages or raising your prices, it can feel a bit icky, a bit sticky. It can bring up a lot of emotion, okay? So here's the thing. If you want to implement any of the things that I've gone through in this masterclass, you're going to need to look at your money programming and your self-worth. Because otherwise you're going to find it really hard to implement. You're going to find it really hard to create a higher price point. You're going to find it really hard to create this new high ticket offer or adjust your pricing, okay? There's so many people that love the idea of a high ticket offer, but they don't think that they can do it, or they just don't think people will pay for it. And actually, I just don't believe that's true. I honestly think there are enough people out there that will happily pay money for something that they want. Now, here's the caveat. There's so many brands, particularly across the equestrian space, and also, lifestyle brands as well that would fit the canine clients that are in massive, massive of growth.
There's so many luxury brands, Holland Cooper, Fairfax and Favour, just like countless brands who are in huge growth. Now, the same people that'll be like, oh, I don't think I can afford another session for my horse. You turn around, they've got new riding boots, they've got new fancy jumpers, they've got a new fancy coat, whatever it is. People have money to spend. This is my personal belief. What your marketing needs to do is ensure that they spend that with you because they're going to spend it on something. It's up to you to communicate why they want to spend it with you on their animal, not on a pair of shiny jumpers, which is lovely, but it's not really going to help that animal in the same way. Okay. And this all comes down to how you feel about money and how you feel about marketing yourself. Okay. So, what if you believed that people just wanted to pay you money? So many practitioners operate from this energy of like, I'm taking, like the idea that if I charged more or if I had a high price point offer, that I'm taking something away from my clients. Like I'm taking their money and that might mean that they can't do X, Y, or Z. Okay. Well, what about if you thought about what they're actually gaining? Because here's the thing, we don't know. We don't know the private ins and outs of anybody's bank accounts unless they actually sat down and told us. But most of the time, we're all making all number of assumptions about how much money people have got, what they can afford, what they can't afford. And to be honest, we get that wrong time and time again. We have got no idea. So if you feel like sometimes during that, oh, I'm taking energy, or like I feel bad if I told them I could help them this way, I feel bad if I put my prices up. What about if you looked at that the other way around? Imagine you were solving more problems for a client. Imagine you had this high ticket offer. You might be providing somebody with such relief that the money for them doesn't even come into it. They are so happy to have solved this problem, and not be worrying about this or not be trying to figure things out on their own. Wouldn't that feel different? And ultimately, you don't know. You have got no idea. So I invite you to just think about rather than like, oh, it's taking energy, me charging more or me having this other option for people to work with me on a higher price point, just think about what they're gaining. Because I think the vast majority of us would happily pay money to take better care of our animals to feel less stressed ourselves. Hands up, I know I would, okay? And how would you feel? Well, I should say selling, I don't know why it says feeling. If you were selling a product and not a service, because again, this is where it gets messy when you are the service. You are ultimately selling yourself, and that can make you feel all kinds of things. If you were selling a wheelbarrow, a dog lead, a pair of wellies, or coat, or whatever, would that feel different? If you were giving somebody a tangible product, would that feel easier for you around selling? For some of you, yes. For some of you, maybe not. I don't know. But I want you to just think about what somebody gains when they pay you money. Okay? And I want you to step in and test this out. Test this out tomorrow. What would it feel like if you believed, like deep in your bones, people just want to pay me money? People love to pay me money. Like people are excited to pay for my services. I mean, you can see my posture's changed, even saying it, hasn't it? Like, how would you show up? How would you jump out of bed in the morning if that was like the core belief? Boom, 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 bonging through your head. You'd feel amazing, wouldn't you? So test that out, try it on. Because you get to choose. You get to choose how you feel about money, okay? And you will really find it hard to implement the part one and part two if you don't do part three. Okay, so there's the invitation for you. You have the tools at your disposal. Now, just knowing these three steps does not give you the results. You need to make these mindset shifts. You need for accountability, and you do need to personalize and build bespoke offers that work for you. Like I've opened up a ton of possibilities. I've shown you how you can help people in so many different ways, how people will happily pay for you to solve more of the problems, but you do need to make something that feels personalized to you, that serves you and your clients. Now, what does make this stuff work, where you can add in new packages, where these are easy to market, where you can bring a new revenue to the business, is when you change, when you become the person that actions the plan, when you have personalized support for the good bits and the bad bits, and when you take action. Now, remember the commitment at the beginning, all those ones, you're going to take action, even if it feels uncomfortable. So you need to be taking action on this. And your action might be to try on a new belief about money. Your action might be to look at how you think about money, how you feel about money, and then implement the strategy stuff later. Yeah. For some of you, you might be like, no, cool, I want to have this new high ticket offer in place. That's up to you, but you need to be taking action. That's what makes it all work. Now, if you really do want to build new offers and raise your prices, you're at a crossroads at this point in time. You've got three options. Stay the same, keep doing what you're doing, and sort of hope for the best and see what happens. Don't change anything. Option one. Option two, try and implement these three steps and sort of fingers crossed, let's see how it goes. Option three, let me help you. Let me help you for free. Now, I have opened up 10 strategy sessions for those of you attending the masterclass, whether you were live, whether you're on the replay. I want to build on the work that we've done today, and I really want to help you create a bespoke plan for the next 90 days where you can bring out a new offer or where you can adjust your prices. So in these sessions, they're 30 minutes long. We'll look at what your bigger vision is. We'll look at roadblocks that are keeping you stuck, and I will give you 2 to 3 practical actions that you can implement straight away. We've opened up 10 spots in the next 10 days or so. If you would like one of those spots, they generally go really quickly. And we won't be doing these for a little while. I don't think we've got any space next month to do these. I love doing these sessions. But if you would like one of these, you need to scan this code to get into my personal calendar and book your session today. We can build so much more on the masterclass in these strategy sessions. I can give you so much more personalized help because literally the sky is the limit when it comes to building out these offers. And when I can get to know you and your skills and your ideal clients and your unique way of working, then we can come up with offers and packages that really serve you, really quite quickly. It's amazing how much we can get done in just 30 minutes. It really is. So I really look forward to seeing some of you on those sessions. I'm sorry there's only 10, but I know that that's what we've got a space for. But I really look forward to helping those of you that book onto those. Now, before we close off this session, and apologies for my very sniffy voice, I seem to have got more and more bunged up as we've gone through this. I want to open the floor to any questions. So if you'd like to ask me anything specific, if you've been joining us live, like about a high ticket offer, about raising your prices, now is your time. Stick it in the chat. If you're on the replay, please do send that over via email. More than happy to help you. Let's see what we've got. Okay, right. What have we got here? More revenue, new ways of working with clients. Okay, more revenue, just starting out, feeling confident reaching new clients. Okay. People struggling, first income, even though they need it. Now, Caroline, that's really interesting, saying that people are struggling and have got less income. I think that is true for some people, definitely. I don't think it's true for everybody. And I think what is the case for some people is that they just have to make a choice. So maybe, I don't know, it's stuff for that animal or it's going on a holiday. So I think I would just ask you to maybe just examine that belief a little bit. Like, is that a total fact that every single person that you could potentially help is financially struggling, or is it just some of them? Or is it some people have got the luxury of choice? So just ask you to just question that belief a little bit. Want to expand into equine and animal clients. Years as a massage therapist. Oh, I love this, Steph. Creating new forms of expression. Love this. Okay, amazing. Yes, yeah, money is just stored energy. Yeah, so true, Steph, so true. So, okay, Steph, so based on what you've come across today, then, what are you now thinking about new ways of working with your clients? Like, you've got human skills to bring as well as helping. And quite there's no limit to what you could do. You could be helping just riders, you could be helping just horses, you could have an amazing offering with helping the whole team, the horse and the rider. That's fantastic. I love that. Okay, so for those of you looking to kind of like get your business up off the ground and more clients, um, I'm going to make sure you get access to the your next 10 clients training because I think that will really, really serve you guys as well. Okay, so if we've got any other questions that need answering, this is your minute to ask them. If not, I will see you very soon on one of the strategy sessions. I know that when I close off this call, that probably most of them will be gone. And I look forward to that very much. A huge thank you for joining us, either live or on the replay. I really look forward to hearing what you do with your packages, what you do with your pricing. And I can't wait to, see you on one of these strategy sessions. So, a thank you and a goodbye from me, and I will see you very soon. Bye for now.